Hi bookish friends, welcome back to my channel if you haven't been here before, and if you're returning, what's up? Today I'm going to be going through what is my highest rated book of the year so far, what is my lowest rated book of the year so far, and what book is the most mid. I'm doing this in lieu of doing a February and January wrap up, just because I have read a lot of books this year and it felt like it would be a really long video. I'm gonna be doing monthly wrap-ups from here on out, but I thought this would be fun for the time being. So let's dive right into it. I'm gonna start with the lowest rated book of the year and then go up because it's nice to end on a positive note. So the lowest rated book of the year so far for me has been If It Sounds Like a Quack, A Journey to the Fringes of American Medicine by Matthew Holtz Hetling. This book was really, really hard for me to get through. It was frustrating at times. It felt unempathetic in a lot of ways. This book talks a lot about alternative medicine, obviously. It gives specific stories following certain people, but overall the theme of it is just how stupid is it to believe any of these things and to believe anything other than Western medicine. With the title, I was expecting some level of like, ooh, let's talk about snake oil salesmen and that kind of thing. And I was here for that. But what I felt like I got instead was a book in which the author was trying to poke fun at everybody else and say, like, you're so wrong and like, how funny is that? It was really unkind in my opinion. I didn't like the way they approached it. I was obviously open to the subject matter, but I didn't like the way that the author approached those conversations. In particular, something that really rubbed me the wrong way was in a chapter he was talking about religious belief and like praying for the health of your loved ones. And the way that he approached that conversation really gave me the ick. Regardless of how you feel about any of that, like, it was just unkind the way that he spoke about it. So I was not a fan of that. Also, there was like a really weird amount of talk about leeches. Like, I felt like after every section, we just kept coming back to leeches. And like, if there was one through line of this whole thing, other than like, everyone else is wrong, it's like leeches. And it was just like, okay. Needless to say, that book wasn't my favorite. I very rarely rate books 1 star. I would give this one like 1.5 stars, which is so low for me. It's so low. This one was a swing and a miss. The reason I would say that is just because some of the stories of some of the individuals that I did find kind of interesting, but overall it really rubbed me the wrong way and I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. Next, I'm going to be talking about the book that is the most mid out of all the books that I've read this year. And this is a controversial one, so I'm going to tread lightly. And that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by B.E. Schwab. I can see why it's so popular. I do. I think the writing is good. I think that the story is interesting. Like, the premise is really interesting. It's basically about a woman who is in this arranged marriage and it's like her wedding day and she's like going to get married and is going to be given away and really doesn't want that. So she makes a deal with the devil to have her life be her own, right? In order for that to happen, she needs to live forever, like she's immortal. Death, or the devil, is really sneaky and basically, like, within her wording, makes it so that she can live forever, but she is going to be forgotten by everyone that she ever encounters. Even if they've had this like long relationship with her, they turn around and look back for 1 second and boom, it's like, who are you? This book is about Addie's very long life and her relationships. Now, this book, I'm so sorry. This book was so slow for me. It was really, again, really hard for me to get through. And again, like, I like the premise and everything, but the first like half of the book just felt like it was dragging on and on and on. And I read some commentary from someone that said like the author did that intentionally so you could feel some of what Addie felt about how her life was just dragging on and on and on. I think that's a cool idea. In theory, in practice, as a reader, it was hard to push through. About halfway through the book, I was like, oh my gosh, ooh, cool, like things are picking up. And then it just kind of like fizzled out for me again. I would give this book 3 stars. I initially gave it 3.5, but I've been sitting on it for a few weeks and I'm just like, it didn't really give me that. Like it wasn't really giving 3.5 for me. It was more like giving 3 stars. 3 stars is good, like it's a solid book. I wouldn't recommend it to everybody. I would recommend it to some people. I would recommend it to someone who was here for the slow burn and who didn't mind a slower start, middle, and even end for the sake of like a good story. Now I'm going on to what is the highest rated book of the year for me so far, and it's a book that just stuck with me. Like I just kept thinking about it for weeks afterwards, and I still have little moments where I'm like, yes, this book. And that is The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. This book I know was like really popular on like Book Talk and all that. I'm not on Book Talk, I'm not on TikTok, but I know it's one of those books. Call me guilty. I loved this book. This really was a fun read. It was engaging. At the end of every chapter, there's like a little bit of a cliffhanger, so you want to just like keep reading. The chapters are short, which I love. And the story is basically about this woman who becomes a housemaid for this family who on the outside is like picture perfect, right? The longer she's there, the more she realizes like there's something weird going on with this family. And something doesn't really seem right, and the people in the family start to become questionable in many different ways, and there's a lot of mystery. This book is a thriller. It'll keep you on the edge of your seat. It's very fun. I would recommend it to anybody. I would. This was a 5-star for me, by the way. I don't remember if I said that. A 5-star I would recommend to anybody. If you like thrillers, give it a shot for sure. If you don't, give it a shot. Just see if it's your jam. If it's not your jam, like that's cool. But I loved this book a lot. I personally liked The Housemaid's Secret just as much as The Housemaid. The Housemaid's Secret is the second book in the series. There's a third one coming out, I believe in July of this year, which I'm so excited to read. I cannot wait. That's The Housemaid, and that's my highest rated book of the year so far. Now, I did want to give an honorable mention to a book that just made me happy, and that is Finlay Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano. I loved this book. It almost made it to my favorite book of the year. Initially, I didn't know if I was going to give this book 5 stars, but then because there's so many plot holes in Finlay Donovan is Killing It, it's so like unrealistic. But that's like part of its charm to me. I was just sitting on it for a day. I was like, maybe like 4.5. And then, you know what? Like this book brought me such joy. Like the serotonin this book gave me is immense. So 5 stars. I love Finlay Donovan is Killing It. This book is about a woman who is a writer and is having a really hard time writing her book. Big time writer's block, right? So she goes to a Panera Bread to meet with her agent, and she's discussing the plot of her next book and is overheard by someone in the Panera Bread, this woman who mistakes her for a contract killer who wants her to kill her husband. So hijinks ensue, and it's just fun. It's just really fun. It's like a light-hearted mystery comedy. That's how I would describe it. It's not a thriller. You're not gonna be like on the edge of your seat, though the mystery is fun. The stakes are high, but it's really funny. It's a very humorous take on a story or a premise like this. It's a really good time. So I would highly recommend also Finlay Donovan is Killing It. I'd also highly recommend Finlay Donovan Knocks 'Em Dead, which is the sequel, the second book in the series. Thank you so much for watching. If you've watched all the way to the end, I super appreciate it. If you have, let me know what your highest rated book of the year is, and also please let me know what book I should steer clear of, be that fiction, nonfiction, whatever genre. I've really been branching out and reading different genres this year, so I need to know before I dive into it, like what do I need to stay clear of. Also, if there's a book that you feel like is really mid, I'd like to kind of stay clear of that too. If there's a book that just kind of like gives you the meh, you know, let me know. If you feel so inclined to click the like button if you like this video, or to subscribe if you feel like it, that would be super cool. But I just really appreciate you watching this video at all. Thank you so much again for watching all the way to the end, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. It means a lot to me, and I really look forward to seeing you in the next one. All right, bye.